anyways, the reason why we ended up coming in right now before the next video for our Witchin Kitchen is, just last week, we did a recipe together. We had a tag team episode. Tell them a little bit about it.
Well, we made mug cakes that you can use to replace English muffins. A viewer, Linda from Trenton, requested this recipe.
And she ended up recording her doing our recipe. Let's take a look at that right now.
Okay, so I just made the recipe and it just finished cooking in the microwave. So this is what I have. So I'm going to let it cool down for a few seconds and then I'm going to take it out of the mug. Okay, this is the English muffin once I have taken it out of the mug. And I'm just going to wait for it to cool before I slice it and toast it. So here's the finished product, nicely toasted, lots of air bubbles in it. Can't wait to give it a try. Absolutely delicious. Amazing, and I can't get over how easy it was to make. Thank you so much, John and Darlene. I'm going to really enjoy this.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Linda, for doing that. And if you try one of our recipes,
please record yourself and your friends making the recipe and tasting the recipe and send us your video.
Yeah, send it down here to the description down below and maybe you'll be featured on one of our next videos. So thanks for joining me right now. We'll have you back shortly, but you know what time it is. Bye.
Really? Not again. I thought we talked about this last time.
I'm sorry. I gotta get better at that. Oh well, what can you do? Let's go to this incredible Witchin Kitchen video. This is a good one for the long weekend. Hope you enjoy it. Hello everybody. Thank you once again for tuning into the Witchin Kitchen, and thank you so much for watching the other videos that we have on our channel. So today you're in for a real treat, and I am so happy to bring this one to you. If there's one thing I've missed being on keto is Southern fried chicken. Well, we're in luck today because today we are making keto fried chicken with Dixie Coleslaw and keto gravy. So stay tuned for that. Let's get the ingredients for what we're going to need, get our dishwater going so we can keep our hands and surfaces clean, and get an apron on, so we'll be right back. Hold on tight. Our dishwater's ready to go. I've got my apron on. Let's talk about the ingredients for a second now. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to break it down into 3 separate parts because it's going to take 24 hours for some of these things to get ready and be perfect. So we're going to start with the keto fried chicken first. The recipe for that. So go and grab yourself a pen right now and press pause. I'll wait for you. You have yourself a pen and a piece of paper, so here we go. Here's the ingredients, and we're going to start with just the fried chicken. We're going to break that down into little sections as well. So, we're going to start with the actual marinade you need for this keto fried chicken. And it's very, very simple. You need about 3 pounds of chicken, which is about a whole chicken, and section it off into wings, into back, into thighs, into drumsticks, and into breasts. And you can also use pre-cut pieces of chicken breast. As long as they're all about an even size, grab yourself chicken breast, cut it up yourself. Need about 3 pounds or 1 whole chicken broken down into the pieces that you need. You're going to need about 3.5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. I use the Clubhouse stuff because it's all ready. You don't have to add anything to it. I use pink Himalayan sea salt. Now, Himalayan sea salt gives you all the minerals your body needs. It's all natural. And we're only going to use 2 teaspoons of this. Now, if you're using salted butter, only use 1 teaspoon of this because it goes very, very far and is extremely strong compared to normal salt or sea salt. You're going to need about 2 tablespoons of butter softened at room temperature. It has to be at room temperature. Very important for this recipe. 1/4 cup of lemon juice. This is going to help the recipe and give it that incredible tang that you need. and it's called cold cooking chicken. Lemon juice helps to do that. We'll explain that to you in the tips down later. So that takes care of the marinade for the chicken. The next thing you have to think about is once it's marinated, what are we going to do to coat it? So we've got to think about the dredge. The dredge is in two processes. So once your chicken is marinated, then we go in, we make a wet and a dry. And here's the ingredients for that. 1.5 cups of whey protein powder. 1 teaspoon of paprika. Also, 1/2 teaspoon of sage, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and then for the milk dredge that you're going to put it into, 3/4 cup of half and half. To fry all this beautiful chicken in, some light olive oil. It won't affect the taste of the chicken, and it's got a very high burn rate so it won't dissipate. There's all the ingredients, so let's get our chicken and get it ready to get marinated and put into the fridge. Now it's time to make the marinade for our keto fried chicken. So, as I said to you earlier, we're going to do this and break it down into 3 different parts. What we're going to do first is use those spices and everything for the marinade. We have our Italian seasoning and our Himalayan sea salt, our 2 tablespoons of room temperature butter, and a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. We're going to need a whisk as well. We're going to take that softened butter and we're going to incorporate these spices into it first. Take a whisk and very gently blend it together. The best part about this recipe is that it tastes so great. Crispy strips of keto fried chicken. Southern, that is. Southern. This is what you want your butter to look like with the spice in it. Now we are going to incorporate our lemon juice into this very slowly. We got the first part of the lemon juice in. Let's add the last little bit at a time here and incorporate that in as well. To get the last little bit incorporated, grab a spatula and press it into that butter. This recipe is great. I miss fried chicken so bad. I ended up getting diverticulitis. Now, diverticulitis is when the pockets in your bowels get inflamed and anything as small as a banana seed gets lodged in there and everything shuts down. That's why I had to give up being a pastry chef. I used to be massive, huge, over 350 pounds, and I had over a size 62 waist. Talk about out of shape and not good, but I didn't care. I loved life and enjoyed food. So things like deep fried anything were out of the question. Anything like that could irritate it so bad, the diverticulitis. So I lived with it, but I still had the joint pain. I wasn't breathing properly. I was getting used to my new body losing all that weight so fast that it took time to catch up. But then, when things would shut down, there was go-to foods that I could use to get the system running again. Maria biscuits, tapioca pudding, vanilla pudding, ice cream, to try to get everything going again. Well, that didn't help at all either, because once again, I still wasn't eating healthy. So then Darlene was nice enough to tell me about keto, and now I have a chance to actually have keto fried chicken. Now that we have our butter compound together, I forgot one important thing. One very important thing. I forgot the chicken. So let's use some magic and get the chicken here. What do you know? Look at that. The important part about your chicken, make sure that you wash your chicken and dry it thoroughly. Very important for this recipe. Wash your chicken, dry it thoroughly. All these chunks, about 3 pounds of chicken, or 1 whole chicken broken down into the sections we talked about earlier. Take this butter compound and put it all over the chicken. Coat the whole pieces of chicken in there. I'm using a metal bowl. The reason being is because this is going to go in the fridge and marinate for 24 hours. And we're going to take the butter with the lemon juice and spice and just put it all over the chicken. All the pieces, you want to coat them really well. It's like a paste. so that spice and that lemon juice can get into the chicken while it marinades overnight. And that butter is going to help keep it moist when we do our dredge. The chicken's all coated, it's all stacked together. We're on our way now to putting it in the fridge, letting it marinate for 24 hours. On to step 2, our Dixie Coleslaw recipe. Let's get this in the fridge. The chicken's in the fridge marinating. We're going to leave that for 24 hours. On to step number 2, and that's our second course to go with this, a side dish. A beautiful, tangy, spicy, hot Dixie Coleslaw keto style. And we're going to start with the ingredients. Get yourself a medium cabbage and dice it all up into a fine dice. You want it really nice and fine. You want it to penetrate the cabbage when we add the hot mixture to it. If you do not have a food processor, which I don't, I'm old school, get out the cheese grater and start grating it down by hand. Take out those big chunks, you don't want them sitting around. Our spices for this dish: a teaspoon and a half of granulated garlic, half a teaspoon of onion powder, quarter to a half a teaspoon, white pepper. And you're going to put it anywhere about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half, depending on how hot you want your Dixie Coleslaw. We have 3/4 of a cup of vinegar and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And finally, to sweeten the whole thing up, about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of erythritol stevia blend. And of course, when everything is cooled down, you will add about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. You're going to also need a whisk and a small pot. Let's get our stove on, get the ingredients into the pot, and get things going. We're going to set this on a medium temperature. We don't want anything to burn, we just want it to warm up and incorporate everything together. Add in our vinegar and lemon juice. We're going to add the erythritol stevia blend. Take your whisk, let's whisk this in and get ready for the next step. The erythritol stevia blend is now incorporated into the vinegar and lemon juice. Let's take these spices and we're going to add them now to our mixture. Incorporate them in there as well. Now we're going to let this do its thing for that Dixie Coleslaw taste that everybody loves. We're going to take this mixture, we're going to put it into the fridge, add the mayonnaise to it tomorrow in 24 hours before we serve the big plate of food. Let's finish this up and then we'll incorporate it into the cabbage. Our mixture here is done to marinate that cabbage into the Keto Dixie Coleslaw. The smell in here is unreal. Gently take this and add it into the coleslaw. Mix it all the way around so every piece gets some of that beautiful marinade on it. This is going to help to break down the fibers in the cabbage just enough to soften it up, and it'll penetrate and make a beautiful juice that when we add the mayonnaise to it tomorrow, creaminess, good, beautiful. And if you need to add anything extra tomorrow, you can, but give this 24 hours in the fridge covered so it gets a chance, once it cools down, to do its beautiful magic. Let's fast forward 24 hours. Here we go.